story is The Elves and the Shoemaker. Let's go, 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 Dayoung Read. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go, go, go. The Elves and the Shoemaker. Chapter 1. Making Shoes. Once, an old shoemaker lived with his wife a room above their workshop. Each day he let out his ladder, drew different shoe shapes, cut them out, and sewed them together. And he stretched the shoe shape over a wooden foot, cut out more leather, and sewed it on. Finally, he cut out dead soles, made holes them with a huge needle, and sewed into soles into shoes. People loved watching the shoemaker at work. Nobody could pass his workshop without looking in. Ooh, look at those heels! And at the end of the day, there always a crowd of people wanting to buy his latest shoes. Chapter 2. Bad Business. One day, the shoemaker's wife spied trouble. A cart passed by the window with cheap shoes painted on the sign. At first, she kept quiet. She didn't want to worry her husband. But slowly the crowd outside their workshop became smaller and smaller. Where is everyone? I think you should outside, dear. A crafty shoe seller had the opposite table at the end of their street. His shoes were badly sewn with poor leather, but he sold them with bargain price. Buy your cheap shoes! This is terrible, said the shoemaker. He's putting me out of business. And his shoes are awful, said the shoemaker's wife. But the local people were delighted. Now they could buy 2 pairs of shoes the price of 1. Each day, the cheap shoe seller arrived with a new load of shoes. How can he make them so quickly? Wondered the shoemaker's wife. He must have lots of people working for him. Chapter 3. A last pair of shoes. The next few months were miserable for the shoemaker and his wife. With very little business, they were running out of money. Soon, the shoemaker could only afford enough leather to make 1 more pair of shoes. I'm ruined. He cut out of the shoe shapes and let down at his work table. Then he yawned. I'm too tired to sew this today, he sighed. Early next morning, he went downstairs and stopped in amazement. Am I still dreaming? He asked himself. Who? At its work table stood a perfect pair of shoes. Someone had naturally shown off these pieces of leather. What more, they had sewn shiny buckles on the front. The shoemakers were baffled. Chapter 4. It Must Be Magic. They're lovely, said the shoemaker's wife, putting the shoes in the window. Before long, a rich gentleman came in. Those shoes are just what I'm looking for, he cried. They're much better than the cheap shoes down the road. And he paid for the shoes with a solid golden coin. Now the shoemaker could buy enough leather to make 2 pairs of shoes. As he cut them out, he saw how late it was. I'll finish them in tomorrow, he thought. But by morning, the job was already done. 2 neat pairs of shoes were waiting for him, fancy bows and all. I never have thought about adding bows. That day, the puzzle shoemaker had 2 more happy customers. Aren't they gorgeous? Now he had enough money to buy a letter of 4 pairs of shoes. After cutting out the letter, the shoemaker locked up and went to bed. The next morning, he couldn't believe his luck. On the table stood 4 pairs of shoes. It must be magic, he cried. And so he went on. The more letters she cut, the more shoes they found in the morning. Chapter 5. The True Rivals. Within weeks, a business was booming. The shoemaker had plenty of money and very little to do. He was a happy man. The cheap shoe seller was not so happy. He had angry customers to deal with. My shoes broke after 3 days. I want my money back. And word had spread about these awful shoes. No one wanted to buy them. One evening, there was a knock at the shoemaker's door. It was the shoe seller. What can I do for you? Said the shoemaker. You can stop running my business, shouted the seller. He picked one of the shoemaker's new shoes and studied it carefully. And you give me back my helpers, he snorted. What helpers? We don't know what you mean. With a scowl, the shoe seller stormed out of the workshop. The shoemaker and his wife looked at each other. Who thinks makes our shoes? Whispered the shoemaker. I don't know, said his wife, but let's find out. Chapter 6. The Secret Shoemakers. That night, they decided to stay awake and see what happened. They hid behind some coats and cornered up the workshop. Everything was quiet till midnight. 2 little elves rushed in. Were nothing but rags. They sat down at the table, quickly began to sew. The shoemaker and his wife listened carefully to the elves' chatter. This is began them making cheap shoes at the rotten attic, said the first elf. I wish the other elves had escaped as well, said the second. Never mind, replied the first elf. If we put that wicked shoe seller out of business, the other elves will be free too, said the second. Hurry up and we'll be spotted. I'm almost done. Which is out the street. As the sun began to rise, they finished the last shoe and disappeared through the door. The shoemaker and his wife was astonished. I think I'm going crazy, said the shoemaker. Were those really elves? That's incredible. The wife nodded. And it sounds like the shoe seller is forcing other elves to work for him, she said. No wonder he can make so many shoes. Chapter 7. Revenge. Over breakfast next day, the shoemaker and his wife decided they could hope. By 10 o'clock, there was already a room full of people wanting to buy the shoemaker's new shoes. If we could selling these lovely shoes, said his wife, the shoe seller will go bust. But by midday, they had sold 30 pairs. They were eating lunch when they heard the sound of cart. The cheap shoe seller was leaving early. The mob of angry customers were hopping after him. They shaking their fists, pelting him with broken shoes. There goes the cheat! Anyone come there, come back! The shoemaker and his wife breathed a sigh of relief. How can we ever thank our 2 helpers? wondered the shoemaker. Let's make some proper clothes, said his wife. Chapter 8. The Elves Escape. All day, a shoemaker's wife all worked their sewing machine, making little suits for the elves. The shoemaker made 2 tiny pairs of shoes. That night, instead of leaving leather shapes at the table, the shoemaker left 2 piles of clothes. Then he and his wife had began the clothes again and waited for the elves to arrive. The elves were delighted with their new outfits. They scrambled into them and danced around the room. Wow, these just be for us! I've never worn these shoes before. How handsome we look! Here they are, cried the boys from the street. A second later, there were 14 more elves in the workshop. The 2 elves stopped dancing. Hey, said one, how did you escape? The shoe seller let us go, cried the excited elf. He's giving up selling the shoes. We put spells on our sewing to make the store shoes fall apart. Now we're going to celebrate, said another. Come on, and you can tell us why you dress like people. Laughing and joking, the elves skipped off down the street. The shoemaker and his wife smiled as they watched them go. They might have lost their magic helpers, but now they were in business again. They had plenty of customers and lots of ideas for new shoes. As for the elves, they never saw another shoe. Thank you for reading me today. Bye! Have a nice day. You can read one of your books. Bye!